I need a girl thing tonight. Gather the girlfriends for a really good time. Hit the dance floor till morning light. When tomorrow comes, we'll have something to hide. It's a girl thing. Try to understand, it's not a me thing. No different than my friends. I get what I want, but I want it bad. It's a girl thing.
Come on, girls.
Come on, girls. We got an extra girl here today. Hi, Stella.
We
Hi,
do.
Stella.
Stella, the station puppy, is here today.
Oh, she's so cute.
Good morning and happy post St. Patrick's weekend here on JOCO Vibes. I think my mic's up a little bit. I feel I am.
Yeah, you were really high.
I
I didn't do that.
was really loud, baby.
It wasn't me.
I was really loud. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to another
Good
edition of
morning.
JOCO Vibes here on JOCO Community Radio. And Tiffany, Carlen with the amazing Red, Sarah Reeves. Jason's off doing some business.
He's got business in the bagly.
That's good.
See what I did there?
That I totally saw what you did there. I mean, I heard it anyway. Nona's still in the process of moving into her new house and getting things squared away with her new job. So I don't know when we're going to see her back at the table.
She said soon.
Sniffle.
We miss her. We miss her so much.
Yeah. So, but I'm going to tell you what, if you don't think this is a beautiful day, I know for some people this is like cold, but
it was chilly, but it's
beautiful.
It's all right.
I'm sweating, to be honest.
Well,
I forgot my deodorant.
Yeah, it's not.
It's a girl thing. Yeah, no, it feels super.
It's gonna be a nice day.
Yeah, it feels super amazing to me.
So
it was like 30. It was 38 when I looked at the temp this morning, and I was like, yes, that's my kind of day with a high of 60. I think is what they're calling for.
Wow.
So I saw 64 at first, but he actually said 60, like on the news. So I was like, whatever. I'll take 60 even better. 60 is better than 64, whatever. You know, I get to wear boots another day and a sweater. Boots and a sweater.
Yeah, for a little bit longer. Well, the other, this weekend was wild. It was awesome. I got to basically make sure all my friends were safe most of the time, and that was great. And had a blast doing it. It was St. Patrick's Day weekend.
I just want to give a shout out to Alyssa and Kim, who are the hosts of High Tea, because they were so incredibly dressed up for St. Patrick's Day. You know, they had the tutus going on and all kinds of headgear and, cool t-shirts. So I just want to say that
Bronson said, I know the soft-spoken one who brought the mic up, and he waved.
She was in seat 1 though. So if she brought the mic up, she brought the wrong mic up, Bronson.
That's okay.
She's on mic 1.
So this weekend was awesome. I got through the whole weekend without incidents. And then last night I stepped down and twisted my ankle really bad.
It looked pretty gnarly in the picture.
It's not very pretty, but I can walk without an ankle brace on, which I'm very thankful, because it felt like it was gonna be way worse.
And it's the same ankle.
Yes,
right?
The same ankle I had problems with before that hadn't quite, which is probably why I fell. Right, it gave out, and but man, it's the bruising is setting in. It was not fun.
I vacuumed up my last pair of head earbuds.
Yeah. And now those are not your favorite, are they?
No, these are actually.
Oh.
That's why I didn't typically have them in here. I mean, I have my wireless ones anyway, but these are so much stronger. They're so much better than the other ones I had. I think that's why everything sounds intensely loud.
It can be like that some days in here.
Anyway, so Alyssa and Kim, I know they're going to talk about it on their show later this week, Thursday night, about the wine crawl and everything. I mean, the pub crawl that happened here in Burleson. They said they had a blast. They said it wasn't well attended.
Oh,
I guess as it has been in past years.
I thought everything was full. Everything seemed packed when we were there.
I don't know. Sometimes I think it depends on the time, and it was raining all day, right?
It rained in midday, and then it was done. But it kind of just made you stay in one spot for maybe a little longer.
Yeah, maybe that's why she didn't see it. But I think in past years it's been wall to wall people like in every single place. So, and maybe that just means that people are kind of snuggling up and staying put in some of the newer places and checking it out. And if the music's good and the food's good, they're just kind of chilling and making it happen.
Well, I know if it had been a bright shiny day, it probably would have been so many people that we wouldn't have had as good a time.
There are so many new and different things going on all over DFW for St. Patrick's Day and other holidays. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, there's a lot of options.
People are going. There's the pickle parade in Mansfield. There was a parade in Fort Worth. I mean, there's so many different things to do, and every little town is getting really creative with fun things to do. So I'm not totally surprised. People are going to get out. They're going to try new things, and some are going to stick with the same old, same old.
You know what I heard is happening this weekend is Taste of Cleburne.
Oh, their wine things this weekend. Yeah,
it's like restaurants and everything. Taste of Cleburne, the 23rd. So that's this weekend.
Okay, I will have to check that out.
People go check out Taste of Cleburne.
Yeah. The Lumberyard did something cool last night. I was going to participate as a vendor, but I had to tell him I had to bail out because, and after I asked, like, "Hey, man, I want to join in for my Tiffany company," he was like, "Yeah, come on." And that was last week. And then I was like, I'm struggling to get a child home from Minnesota who got very, very sick.
Oof.
So I was like, I need to just kind of focus on what is going to happen here. So he will be home this evening finally.
I
the
heard
stomach bug is finally subsided.
Well, that's good. I'm glad he's feeling better. But I heard that last night there were several men. It was supposed to be ladies' night, or it was marketed as ladies' night. They were making custom hats and they were doing some chair massage and some other stuff and permanent jewelry. And then they had someone doing Botox and lip fillers. And I heard some men got some shots in their faces.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of exciting. Like where did they do? Like, did they do like their scowl? What did they?
I think they did their foreheads.
Their foreheads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at me very.
I'm just not going to
name names. Assume it's somebody I know, and you'll tell me off air so we don't out this person on air as to getting their Botox for the first time.
Who knows? Who knows?
Right. Hey, you know what? Whatever. I mean,
I don't care.
Do what makes you feel good.
I got a couple of lines on my forehead that I've had for 10 years, and I'm like, you
really don't have lines.
I just have two. There's this one right here, and then I've got one right above it. Yeah, and I'm like,
we're meant to have them. I have lines.
You should see my dad.
And I'm what?
He looked great. I'm not worried about it. I think I got enough Cherokee in me. I'll be all right.
I'm more than 10 years older than you. And I mean, we're supposed to have lines. I don't have to worry about it. My mom, she just didn't have anything. So
Daddy didn't either.
I just kind of feel pretty good about and I've been taking care of my skin. Really for years. I started using Mary Kay when I was 20, 21, 22. I moved here when I was 22. So that was the year I started using it. So it was really the first year I really started using skincare, and that was 30 years ago.
I had really grown
almost
up.
30, I had 28 years ago. I'm trying to be specific here because I'm not 52. I'm 50. In case people are doing the math.
So I grew up, and when I was a teenager, I had really bad skin, really, really bad skin. Had to go to the dermatologist a lot. And so I get a little paranoid about skincare. And I use like the most mild soap you could ever use. It's pH balanced and it's okay. It doesn't make me break out or anything and keeps my skin good. And I don't use lotion or moisturizer. I use vitamin E oil. And then I put my makeup on. I'm a Merle girl though. I use Merle Norman, but not to tout names here, but that's what I like.
Yeah. Well, it's not, I use like a mixture of products. Some I get from my skin doctor who, gives me I get a little boost right here because I had so most people have like a double line when like their scowl line above your nose. Well, mine was a single line and I have a really deep scar right there. And so I started getting a little bump, I don't know, only a few years ago, just so I could get rid of that line and that deep scar because it was just getting worse and worse. And so, yeah. I mean, I don't mind admitting that.
That's okay.
Yeah. I hated that line. I absolutely hated it. It made me look mad all the time. Like, why are you scowling? I'm not.
I'm not angry. I'm just definite.
Yeah, but I don't want that to show on my face, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wants to look like that, like they have RBF. Some people can't. Botox isn't going to help RBF.
No, it doesn't make that go away.
It really doesn't. I don't have RBF, but I mean, I just kind of had that. I had that line, and it just irritated me. Nobody else probably even noticed it, but I just want to say thank you for my delicious coffee.
You're welcome.
And I really like your jacket.
Thank you. I
So-
got it at Cavender's a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
My aunt got it for me, actually.
I like it.
Isn't that pretty? It looks like tool leather, but and it's feel it. It's
I could see
suede.
it.
It's like so
It's-
soft.
yeah. I love it.
I love it.
Cavender's. I may have to
Mhm.
go check it out and see if I can find one for myself. So, hey, you want to do the focus word of the week?
You bet.
All right. So, if you're joining us for the first time, every week we try and do it on Tuesday. We do the focus word of the week, which is how one word a week will transform your life. It's a book by Clear Cherry Reeves, and last week's word was surrender, and this week's word is words. Words. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Psalm 19:14. So the focus tip is this week, before you speak, think through the words you use. Take note of the words people speak to you and decide whether or not to let them into your heart. Discard the ones that don't speak truth and love. Oh, man, I needed that one. I needed that one.
Say that one more time.
All right. This week, before you speak, think through the words you use. Take note of the words people speak to you and decide whether or not to let them into your heart. Discard the ones that don't speak truth and love. Man. All right. Great show. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
That, like cast down every vain imagination and things that are not aligning with the word of God. You got to get rid of them. That's not.
I think too that to me that it speaks to me in a way of what other people's intentions are, and the words they choose.
Sure.
Are they truth and are they coming from a place of truth and love, or are they coming from a place of
bitterness and
not even that,
or they don't like themselves very much?
Are they coming from a place of truth and
Yeah.
love, or are they full of shit?
Yeah.
And you have to just be able to discern between that. And sometimes you have to be able to say, I'm not even going to allow those words in any way to even hit my ears. So to be able to stop them before they even get there. And I'm going to heed the advice of, not even just advice. My husband was very definite in his answer to me last night. And his answer was, don't even allow it. And he's right.
Go.
I mean, he let me tell you, when he gets definite with me about things, like that, like don't even allow it. Don't even allow the words from that person's mouth to even be given space around your ears. And he's right. And there are times where I will fight my husband, and I mean, and not fight him, but I will argue the point with him. But when that man's definite about something, I know he's definite and he means it, and he's right. And that, I mean, the focus word just, I mean, that message right there just completely confirms it. Like, and I already had skepticism as to what this conversation would be, and I had to reflect and go back and go, okay, let me think about all the words that from the past that came out of this person's mouth and fingers on, to social media. And do I allow
hindsight's 2020, right? You're
yeah.
Like, you get something in your face and
change.
you're like, oh man, wow, that's really bad, or that's really deep, or I needed that, or whatever it was. And then you're like, wait a second, let me look back a minute and go, whoa, you're reminded. He brings to your remembrance things from history, because this is their character, this is who they are, this is what they do. And not that people can't change, but sometimes we need to be reminded of who somebody actually is.
I don't know.
And a player who they are in our
and
life.
That's right. Because I mean, sometimes, and that's right. I don't have to hold space for certain people to let them, squeak their way through a door, right?
Right.
And and I was considering it. I was considering it because I was like, okay, well, maybe this person has changed, or
Sure.
maybe they are looking at me for who I actually am, but I was already who I was, and they know they know who I am.
Right.
And so that just confirms that I don't have to do that.
Right.
I had this conversation with somebody last week who was even talking about family, and I said, you don't have to allow. There's nothing in the Bible that says you have to allow your family, including your own parents,
right,
to use you, verbally abuse you,
right,
hold control over you.
right. Can I get an amen?
You don't have to do that.
No.
I mean, in fact, it says to leave your mother's bosom.
Yeah.
And so, and this has nothing to do with my parents, but or and this has nothing to do with family in any way, but it all goes together. It doesn't matter who you may or may not be holding that space for to allow them a foot back in the door. You don't have to do that. You can forgive someone, because forgiveness is for you. It's not for them.
Right.
They got to forgive themselves, and they got to forgive and move on too. But forgiving somebody else is truly for you and what's in your heart. And so I can forgive without allowing someone to hold any kind of space.
There was
in my place or in my head, right?
There was recently somebody that was trying to hang around a little bit, and they were running their mouth about people, about this certain person, and I was like, that's kind of weird, but it doesn't quite line up with who I thought them to be. But I was like, everybody's experience with people are different. So if that's what you experienced, oh man, I can't wait to break into that.
I want to hear about it. I want to hear about it. All right, stay with us.
Lesson.
We're going to go to a quick break here and hear a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back on JOCO Vibes. Oh.
Abnormal realities.
I love my mom.
Yep. She sent me a message.
My mom did?
Yeah, Wednesday night. And she invited me over tomorrow night to watch Titanic and share a bowl of popcorn. And I accepted.
You did?
Yep.
That would be fun.
And she calls it Chaps Only Night. Every Saturday night.
Look.
Miss Dixie, how you doing? He said, it's my mom, bro. All right, it's my mom.
I want to hear the answer to the Titanic and popcorn. Go ahead, Mom. What's up?
Oh!
Hi, boys. I just wanted to ask Rocky if he wanted butter on that popcorn or not.
I would rather have the butter somewhere else, but if popcorn's the only place I can have it, I'll take it.
Jeez, hey, dude. Nobody says I can't roll around in it for a little bit.
All right, Mom.
That is my girl. I love you, Dixie.
Abnormal realities.
My mom, love you.
Dixie.
I love you too.
With Ron and Rocky. Weekdays, 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. on JOCO Community Radio.
Holy crap.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
JOCO Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
JOCO Community Radio is a member of EMG, a radio and podcast collective proudly serving communities like Johnson and Tarrant County. We are live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network and our station app. Check out our lineup and more at joco.com. Anyway, this is only my second time reading this. It's not very ADHD friendly. We thank our valued partners in helping us amplify the voices of our communities. You heard the commercials. Be sure to connect with Todd Hurd and Associates, attorneys at law. Use code JOCO 2024 for 25% off your first order at thetiffy.com. And join Swipe Nation today and save on your credit card processing at swipenationusa.com. Locally owned and operated. Reach out to Tiffany at JOCO at jococommunityradio.com for advertising rates as low as $50 a month. That's a steal.
It really is, honestly, if you've ever done any radio advertising. If you've ever done any advertising.
Yeah.
Whether it's print or radio, it can be extremely expensive.
Right.
And I always kind of think about the whole idea of print advertising, especially in today's world. I mean, what do you do with magazines?
Put them in the bathroom and then throw them away.
Right. So
nobody ever looks at them. They just sit there in the bathroom.
They're eventually going to end up in the trash. So with our stuff, all of our shows turn into podcasts and they live on forever. So and on video, right. we don't delete videos unless there's like an issue or something comes up.
So back to my story. So there was somebody that was running their mouth about somebody that I already knew, but I didn't know them super well.
An insecure person right now would go, was it me? Were they talking about me?
In fact, they were not.
Okay,
it was actually, they were talking about a male. So, not even the same sex. So they were running their mouth about this person. I was like, that's really weird. That doesn't quite seem to make sense. But, your experience is your experience. So I'm not going to tell you that your feelings and your experience are invalid or wrong. But, then it was, they told me a different story about the same incidents. And then they told me a different story about the same incidents. And I was like, that's 3 different wrongs. None of those line up. So that's a problem. And so anyway, I said, I think maybe you're the problem.
So 3 different versions of the same story in like one sitting?
No, like over 2 or 3 days. She told me in one night, she told me 2 different versions of the same story. And I was like, wait a second. A minute ago, you said, your mind is like a steel trap. Hold on. I was listening. I may be a little spacey sometimes, but I was paying attention. And that's just not going to work. I think you're the problem. And then all of a sudden, she doesn't live here anymore.
Like just over this weekend?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just call me Sam Reeves. like run Joe Simpson out of town. That's so funny.
Yeah, were you serious? Like
I'm serious.
So she was like already out the door though.
No.
Oh, did you have words?
I mean, I just told her how the cow ate the cabbage, and I was like, I think you're the problem.
Good for you.
When you start looking back and you've learned and you've gone through some stuff, all of a sudden, as my old friend Jim Iman would say, doesn't take me long to look at a hot horseshoe. It's hot, but just by looking at it, it's a problem. You can see the bullshit. You can hear the words and know that ain't right. That doesn't apply to what the truth to be. Whenever you're learning, whenever the people are learning how to tell what counterfeit money looks like, what do they study? They study what real money looks like, what the truth looks like. They don't study the fake stuff. So they know that they know that they know the truth. So whenever they see something that doesn't line up with the truth, they see it right away. They're like, that ain't right. They may not know exactly what's wrong, but they know that ain't right. Mm-hmm. And so when you start becoming aware of and paying attention to the truth, it makes the bullshit so much easier to call out and see. And it makes your tolerance level go down in leaps and bounds. And that's what Jason told me yesterday. He's like, what's going on with you? You just seem really confident. And I was like, I don't know, but I know that I have zero tolerance for bullshit these days.
Oh, I've been there. I mean, I've
But
really
I mean,
been there,
like, and seeing it and like being like, oh yeah, that's a problem.
well, and
I'm
I mean,
out.
I can't.
That's got to go. I'm not gonna have that in my life.
I can't be quiet about it, and I think that's sometimes what people have a problem with is that when you call something out or you stand up for someone who's being wronged, and then you become the attacked person because as if you're and that's where the gaslighting stuff comes in, and social media has been such a catalyst for it. You know, these especially in these Facebook groups that allow anonymous posting. You know, I mean, it's literally perpetuating bullying and bullshit and just allowing people to say what. And I'm all for freedom of speech, but there's also freedom of truth, and that comes before or should come in conjunction with freedom of speech. And I could tell you that anything I've ever put up has never been a lie. You may not have liked what you heard to be the truth, but I've never posted anything that's a lie. So, and especially not maliciously.
Destiny Ray says, Sarah, I need your services.
I see that. Stand for something or you will fall for, well, you've got nothing that their destiny, but really it's fall for everything. So if you don't stand for something, you will fall for everything. You'll just, I mean, and that's what happens. I mean, and social media has been a catalyst for it. People will just jump on the bandwagon and go, ooh, oh,
right.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
That's true about that person.
Well, and it says in Proverbs, the first person to give their account is the one that's thought to be innocent until the report is given by the second person. You know, like the reaccount by the other person in the room was like, wait a second. Well, this is my account. This is what actually happened from my perspective or whatever. And then now it's like, now you have to decide which one you believe is the truth or not. But,
well,
usually.
Right. So just to recap, in case you're joining us in the second half, this week's focus word of the week is words. And it says this week, before you speak, think through the words you use, take note of the words people speak to you, and decide whether or not to let them into your heart. Discard the ones that don't speak truth and love.
Mm-hmm. Again, and the word says, cast down every vain imagination. And that's not just talking about your own imagination.
There's a prayer at the end. And whether you're a believer or not, you can pray. Even if it's your first time, and this one is, Jesus, help my words reflect your word. That's not always easy.
No, it's not easy
because nobody's perfect.
No, not one.
No, not one person. And I mean, but you can still strive to be that person, and you can still strive to be a better person.
Right.
So don't discount when people are saying things like that, to let my words reflect your word. It doesn't mean that the person saying them is almighty righteous and makes no, thinks they have no faults. It's a reminder to self. A lot of times when people are talking like that, it's a reminder to self that, hey, get your shit together. And no matter what whatever words somebody else uses to you, you do not have to be the same type of person, nor do you have to receive them.
Mm-mm.
And I think that that's where God's whole message is to me right now. And like I said, my husband being very definite in what he said to me last night. And it's, I don't have to receive or allow those person's words, because I don't
any hold over you
when somebody's
have any weight.
Well, when
in your mind,
when somebody's had ill will towards you in the past, and nothing but ill will has come from them towards you.
Yeah,
you are not obligated to then allow that person to seek forgiveness. I've already forgiven this person, but that's, like I said earlier, it's for me. It's not for them. And so they can deal with what they've done and how they've done it all on their own. I don't have to participate in that.
Right.
And
And
I think people get really confused
Sure.
with that, by the way, like when you're talking about forgiveness. I think people really get confused like that. When someone comes to you and says, well, they'd really like to put out an olive branch. Well, where the hell were you, let's say 9 months ago before you made the last bad choice you made against me? Right.
And there's accepting the olive branch, but there's that level of I'm going to accept the olive branch and I'm going to allow that, but I'm not going to go any further than that.
Here's
and
what
then
I say.
will know you by your fruits.
Good luck to you. I continue to wish you success and,
bless them up, bless them out.
That's right. Thank you for saying that, because that's the truth right there. Good luck to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's one of my favorite prayers. Lord, bless them up. Bless them, give them goodness and grace and bless them in their ways and riches and business and whatever it is they need, and bless them out of town, out of my state, out of my life, just at least out of my way.
Yeah.
Lord, thank you.
Well,
because if they do better, then they cannot worry about you. They're not focused on you anymore either. And if they're happy, then you're going to not have to deal with them. I'm not going to have to deal with the bullshit, like my ex-husband got remarried really quick, and he used to give me a hard time about a whole bunch of stuff. And I prayed that prayer a lot.
Yeah.
And he almost moved to Houston. Well, and then I was like, I got comfortable and I quit praying and they didn't move. And I was like, well, that's close. Man, I should have kept praying.
But there's also
but he got happy.
That's what I was going to say. There's sometimes
and now he
still
doesn't
purpose
bother
in
me.
that.
He doesn't,
Right.
and I'm like, I don't need you to bother. Quit trying to bother me through our kid, because like you're just affecting your child. You're not even affecting me. You're affecting your child.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he got happy, and now he's doing better for his kid, and that's what was most important. And so people can change. I believe that
people can grow.
They can grow and they can change. I mean, if they couldn't change, then we wouldn't be here as Christians. We wouldn't be able to believe that we could be saved and we could be redeemed and we could be turned around and we could be set free, because we can.
But it doesn't mean that we have to grow and change in your own space and world, and good for you. That's really great. But if you're not in my space already, if you're not in my circle, I just don't have to allow it.
Well,
I mean, when there's been damage, right? And you know this because you've experienced it too.
I mean, it's not like I'm calling up my ex-husband trying to have a conversation with him.
Right.
I don't have to do that.
I got to talk to you about our kid if it's
let's,
necessary.
Let's chit chat a minute. Yeah. What's been going on? I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
We don't have to do that. We shook the sand off our feet a long time ago.
Yeah.
Now I'm not going to consider you the dark, shadowy place anymore.
Right.
Can you hear my message?
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And we've all made choices from the past, and I choose to
let it go.
I just choose to, I don't even know if it's let it go. Cause like I did tell my husband, I said, I mean, maybe I should allow it. And he said, no, you don't have to allow it. And he was a little more definite than that.
You don't have to bend over.
You don't have to allow it. And I have to be able to discern between someone's true intentions and are you doing this for me? Are you doing this for you? And I
don't need to wonder. I don't need to wonder because I don't need to think about it.
No, I don't speak their. I mean,
you know what I mean? Like I don't need to think about. I just don't need to think
stupid.
about it. I'm gonna let you do whatever you need to do. Oh yeah. So Destiny says boundaries. That's
right.
what they are for. Love and bless them up and bless them out.
That's why I have a magnetic lock on the door, by the way. People can't just come in here.
But that's the truth. It is boundaries. And when I heard it said, boundaries are something that I put in place that cause you to do nothing.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do anything for me to have a boundary and for me to uphold my boundary.
Yeah.
Like You can do whatever else you want, but you just can't cross my boundary.
You know what? That's some of the like social media has allowed people's like people friending you right on Facebook. Like I have like a giant laundry list of people trying to friend me, and I literally will click through and go, okay, how do I know this person? Because you can't send me a friend request unless we have mutual friends. And so I've had a few to where I go, well, that's a very interesting list of mutual friends. Like you're friends with one of my friends from New Jersey, and you're friends with a friend in Dallas and one in Fort Worth. And so people will intentionally try and connect with people so that they can get to you. I believe that. Because I've experienced it. And then there are people who will just friend you because they see that you're friends with other people. And I will click through, and some I will message and go, hi, I'm sorry. Have we ever,
how do we know each other?
How do we know each other? Have we ever met? And that's a very valid question.
Sure.
I mean, if you were to let somebody into your car or into your home, wouldn't you ask those same questions? Like, this is your personal space. Social media doesn't mean that you have to be social with absolutely everybody and let them into your private circle. Your circle's meant to be a small, trusting circle.
Sure.
And so I question all of that. And I've actually dismissed a whole bunch of people going, I don't know you. And some people will, and please don't take offense to it, because some people will send friend requests after they see you on the radio, or they find out that you're an artist, and
because they use social media differently.
Yeah, and they'll see that I'll go and look, and I'm like, okay, they're friends with all these different musicians, but they're not a musician. And I go, okay, they're a fan of music, but I won't accept it because, again, this is my private space. You can go find me on like my business pages for that.
Well, and like I'm kind of different because with Facebook, almost everything I post, like 95% of everything I post is public, because I'm just like, it's me posting just for my friends is not going to keep anybody who wants to see my stuff from seeing it, because they can get screenshots or they can get this or whatever. And I'm like,
people do that.
It's just all pretty much out there. Like, I kind of live out loud, and it's just, I am me. I am she.
So Jared says, morning, Jared. Yes, I had so many friend requests after my guest appearance, but I saw that coming. Yep. Yeah, it's the truth. And you have to be able to, truly discern between, okay, do I really need to let this person in? What's their intentions for wanting to?
Or like, I'll see like their friends list is like, are all these other single women that I know have been single for quite some time. And I'm like, hey, buddy, you're not going to get anywhere. Like, that's creepy.
Well, I'll look through and I'll go, man, they have a lot of female friends.
Yeah. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
And they don't care that it says, if your profile says you're married.
And they send you stuff. And I mean, like, I don't get.
Okay, that doesn't happen to me.
I don't get I don't get the phallic symbols or things. Because I don't know if maybe I just put that out there that I don't want that, and so I don't.
Yes, you do.
That.
Actually,
you do. I believe that
you do, and I've heard some great compliments about you, by the way. That, because there is you give that off of what you will receive, right? No one's ever sent me an inappropriate photo.
No, I don't
except
get them.
For my husband, but that's accepted, right? I mean, it's a boundary of respect that you project from yourself, that this is what I'll receive, and this is what I expect, and this is what I deserve, and you don't have to say it. You don't have to say it to receive. You don't have to say it to people. It's known. Right. I demand respect.
Mm-hmm.
I deserve respect.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how you're treated. And then there's women who get nothing but the D pics and stuff like that. And that a lot of times that is a sense of their insecurity that's being projected from their aura, from their spirit. And I'm telling you, people feel that stuff. They feel it. But people prey on other people's insecurities.
Yeah. They do.
That's straight up.
They do.
Even in the subject of talking about what we're talking about, which is accepting words, or going, I'm not going to accept anything, but that's.
Well,
I'm not going to accept anything that's not coming from truth and love.
Because if you're putting that boundary up already, you're not going to get that other trash, you're not going to get the other bullshit either because you've already stopped it before it got to the gate.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But you don't even have to say it. People know that about you. Like, okay, that woman deserves and demands respect, and no one's going to F with her. I mean, you have that.
All of a sudden, I'm running ladies out of town. I don't know.
No, but I mean, it's a compliment, right? And
I take it as one. I appreciate it.
For some, I think for some people, they look at women who are strong like we are, who are able to be very definite in what we believe and what we say, that we're not. Look, if I get loaded with like a whole bunch of pics and Facebook from this, I know it's because people are messing with me. But you can't message me unless we're friends anyway. So,
but like, man, it's also not getting me any dates either, and nobody asking me out.
But that's okay. So we've had
it's the balance, right? I guess.
We've had those. Okay, we've had this conversation in the past too, right? Actually, we went dancing.
Yeah,
with your brother.
Yeah,
and Robin. And you're like, nobody's asked me to dance, and you went over and asked.
I even asked them to dance, and they wouldn't even dance with me. I was like, okay.
Yeah, but hold up.
Cool.
And what did I tell you? Because it's the truth. First of all, those guys weren't there to dance.
No, they were there to find a.
They were there to find a young
girl.
I don't even think it was that, because I mean, they weren't drinking, and so they were praying. They were PREYING, praying on. Okay, let me find. Was there a drunk girl out there?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I hate to make that accusation about anybody, but you can discern a room pretty easily, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I got to dance with your brother. Nobody that I didn't know asked me to dance either. And it's a don't F with me look you have on your face.
I was smiling the whole time.
It doesn't matter.
Every time I stole your, well, never mind.
It's who you are. It's it's your essence, right? It's just who you are. The same. This is how it was when I was single. Years ago, when I was single, it was a rare occasion.
You better have some real balls to come ask me to dance.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but I didn't think,
and most of them just don't. I guess
I didn't think I had. Now, when I got an engagement ring on my finger, different story.
No holds barred.
And my husband explained it to me. He goes, it's because that's your reason for rejecting them.
Ah, wow. That's so good.
Right. Well, she's going to reject me probably because she's got an engagement ring.
Yeah. Like it's a 50-50 shot right now.
And so I'm telling you, either
I'm gambling big or I'm going, I'm moving on because she going to already tell me no.
I was traveling, for my job at the time. So I was in and out of airports, 5 times a week. And I mean, nobody ever approached me and like hit on me until that engagement ring came on, and it was insane. And I would call him, I'm like, this is crazy. He's like, listen, just make sure you're watching yourself as you walk to your hotel room. I'm like, of course I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not stupid, but but I'm telling you that as, pop a fake engagement ring. We should try this. We should totally try this.
Do an experiment.
Let's do an experiment and see what happens. But,
well, I can't do it here in town. They all know I'm single.
Okay, so I would say this too, though, that there's a man who has a true intention to date a woman, like your marriage material.
Well, and I don't want to be anybody's flavor of the week.
Well,
I'm not gonna be somebody's flavor of the week.
Your marriage, and don't let that word terrify you.
Not that
when
I'm
you say that,
to get married to anybody right now by any stretch of imagination. But if I find somebody that I want to spend a long time with.
Let's just say a committed relationship.
Like
but when I say
I have commitment issues.
Well, when I'm saying your marriage material, it's because you are worthy of someone who wants to be in a committed relationship with you, not someone who's going to treat you like the flavor of the week. So when in thinking about that, when you're not getting the response that you expect or want from someone you might be attracted to or whatever, and it's because they know that about you. Like they know, okay,
they probably have just as many commitment issues as I do.
Well, no, I don't think, stop saying that, because you don't have commitment issues. It's more about looking at you and going, you know what? She doesn't deserve to be treated like the flavor of the week. So I'm not going to do that to her. It's a respect thing. And I know that sounds so messed up.
I mean, I'm actually okay with that.
I had this
that doesn't
conversation
even
with
bother me
a
at
guy
all.
friend who was saying this stuff, and I was like, "Oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. They actually know what you're worthy of." All right. But if you are single, you know what you could do this weekend and see, I mean, it's a good taste of how, like, what people are into. You can go to the Taste of Downtown Cleburne. It's
That
the
we
annual
mentioned this morning.
I like this. I think they changed up this marketing. I like it. It's the annual flavor trip in historic downtown Cleburne. I love it.
Annual flavor trip.
Yep. They've been doing this.
Makes me think there's mushrooms or something. And Cheshire Cats and Alice.
The first time they did this was in September of 2021. So, and they welcomed 100 plus passengers along the Flavor Express.
Oh, wow.
So
I
love how they're putting
Express.
that. So the event is it's a walking event and takes place across historic downtown Cleburne, Texas. Participants receive flavor passport to be stamped at each location. A walking map and a commemorative swag bag is just some of the things that you get. And you can go to tasteofdowntowncleburne.com to purchase tickets and learn more about it. But it's this Saturday, March 23rd. Is that this week? Oh my gosh.
It's this week.
From 4 to 8 p.m.
Mhm.
So anyway, be sure to tune into some of our other shows, by the way, who cover more of the political stuff. I mean, I know we do here and there, but we've got an election coming up in May still. And there's actually 2 elections. You have a local election, plus you have the runoff from the primaries. So that's going to happen later in May. Be sure to tune back tomorrow morning. We've got Adam with us, the Fat Loss coach, for Wellness Wednesday. A little bit of wackiness coming along.
Watching.
And be sure to check out what else we got going on today. Have an amazing day. God bless and be kind.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JOCO Community Radio.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoyed